Andy from Cornish Motorcycle Diaries here, and today I'm delighted to be able to bring you an on-the-road review of the new Maeving RM2 in this gorgeous red colour. Jakob is going to explain the new features on the new Maeving RM2. So starting at the front and moving further back.
Yeah, so the RM2 is very heavily based on the RM1S. So we've used the same batteries as well as the same drivetrain on the RM2 because of how well it's done on the S. The main real difference is starting off at the front there is the tank area. That tank is slightly shorter on the RM2, allowing both for the addition of that rear seat to the bike, as well as letting you sit a little bit closer to the handlebars and therefore in a more upright position. Does make riding the bike a little bit more comfortable, especially for those longer journeys. The main aspect of the redesign is the frame. So if you notice, the frame is slightly different to the RM1S, which does allow for those shock absorbers to sit a little bit more upright and therefore have slightly better.
So the geometry is slightly different?
It is slightly different. It rides very, very similar to the RM1S, but the ride is different, and you will feel it, especially going around corners, etc. Because you're more upright as opposed to being slightly leant over the tank. The geometry, the actual ride of the bike is slightly different.
What about the seat height? Is that any different?
That's around about the same as the RM1S. So yeah, for any shorter riders out there, it is still very, very comfortable. So we've redesigned the tail light cluster. Reason for that is obviously the mudguard had to be redesigned to allow for that second seat on there. So slightly different rear cluster. But apart from that, the only other difference really is that rear tyre. Rear tyres are a 1/4 of an inch thicker on the RM2 as opposed to the RM1S. Main reason for that allows for the extra weight to be carried if you are carrying a passenger, but also when it comes to riding, especially again around corners at higher speeds, you are feeling a little bit more stable on the RM2 than you would on the RM1S. So that tank is an optional extra. It's the Ember Red. That comes in at £295 from the factory. Other than that, you've got the carbon fibre inserts as well as the carbon fibre mudguards. You do have the upgraded shocks on there, which is the K-Tech suspension, essentially better adjustability for things like preload.
Gosh, this bike just feels so small, and it is small. You've got to get used to the way that these electric bikes tend to respond more quickly than because of the sheer lightness. I also like the way in which it responds. Now we still haven't got you kind of feel you're going faster than you are, but certainly at an indicated 60, there's very little windlass, although it is quite a calm day today. We'll slow it down a bit. So this one I do intend to take it on the faster roads just briefly before returning back, because very good visibility too. It does feel a bit like a bicycle in some respects. That's eco mode, so we'll only do, I think, maximum 40 in this, or 30 even possibly. That's sort of intermediate. We'll eventually get up to about 50, won't it? But in sport, it feels much more responsive. It's just a joy to ride. Well, it's just a joy to ride a motorcycle anyway. Suspension a little bit. The seat's comfortable though, really comfortable. charge 81, so we lost 6% already. Going at higher speeds is going to drain the battery quickly. This is not a long distance rider. It's so compact. Literally, I think anybody of 5 foot and upwards can ride this, and I'm only 5'4" and I've got short Scottish legs, but I am super comfortable. I'll show you the reach. I think that's probably a good thing to do. Oh, the brakes are really quite sharp. So we are going to take a little, very short stretch on this faster road. Indicators are easily accessible. The controls are very simple, actually. I just love this single speedo with a needle. The actual LEDs are just a little bit dark for a bright sunny day like today. Are people going to see me? Sport logo does look like 5, which is slightly disconcerting. Turn off here, that's enough dual carriageway for today. So we're heading back by a different route, 76% now. This thing has an odometer. But very easy to keep up 60 in sport. $50, $55, $60 is probably the sweet spot with this one. It's a bit like Royal Enfield 350 in that respect, but I think it accelerates faster, especially in the sport. In some ways this reminds me of the Suzuki GT125 I had many years ago. 2-stroke twin is that same kind of light, flickable, you know, feeling about it. Probably does feel just that little bit more planted at the rear, but not by a substantial amount. And the suspension is probably adjusted for somebody heavier than me, maybe. But the seat is very comfortable, and it's actually easier to get to the ground with this one. A roads, really. I think, you know, if you have to go on dual carriageways, you'd have to make it a very brief stint, I think, because, you know, it's going to drain the battery, isn't it? So left is the front brake. No regen braking on these, of course. So you've got to use your right hand to do the stabilising bit, and the left to do the major lifting for the braking side. So now we're doing 40-ish. The battery drain is much slower. I don't think the bar ends are standard, so I think it was me. I'd probably opt for the stalky mirrors. And the main advantage of this, obviously, as a commuter, you can run it for peanuts. So the extra purchase cost over equivalent to petrol vehicle like a scooter will be taken away by the time, you know, you've done a couple of years. And of course you can take the battery out and charge it at your office, so stick it under your desk and charge your employer for going to work. Now, isn't that a good plan? Yes, I know quite a few people who would do that, because it's quite easy to conceal the battery. It's not big. Yeah, a little extension cable. Your boss would never even know that he's paying for your travel. Good idea. You heard it here first. Patented. Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Captain Clumsy. It feels very stable. I can take my hands off the bars. You don't want to go anywhere. Not that I'm going to. Yeah, let's change mode. So economy is perfectly okay for your 30 mile an hour riding. At tops out pretty quickly once you get to 30. The middle one in the middle, probably good for most town riding. The speed limits are going to be 30 or 40 max, and there's a little bit of throttle response, but that then tops out at 45ish, which again for most roads, most crowded roads such as these, certainly will be enough. Oh yes, this way for Perranporth. Oh, I'm feeling good here. I am feeling good. Just got to train my brain to realise that left is the front brake. The smoothness of the accelerator, the lack of the jerkiness you get with modern petrol engine bikes to comply with the Euro 5 is a major advantage here. Yeah, you're not going to do any fancy overtaking manoeuvres on E, because it just, as soon as it gets to 30, it pretty much dies off. So you need to be in the next one just to sort of thread your way through, I think. To get past like people like this, the cyclist intent on getting his best time. Oh, I tell you what I could do. I could go to Project 83. Coolest place on the planet around here, if I can remember where it is. Down here? I think it's down here. Keep reaching for the rear brake, and this is the rear brake. The braking is really superb. Can't fault it. Here we go, to Wesley Yard. Oh, there's a Triumph bobber in. Let's go and put them next to each other. How cool is that? And here we are, Project 83.
Well, here I am once again at Project 83, enjoying a fine cup of coffee, and I'm test riding the Maeving RM2, which hopefully you can see in the background somewhere behind me. And yeah, I've had a very enjoyable ride so far. Going to head back now towards Lantee, do a few other bits and pieces, do some closing remarks, but so far, of course, I'm enjoying it. Range, probably too limited for a whole day out, just on one battery, but very enjoyable sort of mid to long commute, and some back roads work 55, 60, kind of is a sweet spot, but it will cruise at 70 perfectly well for those short blasts along the dual carriageway or the motorway, which you just have to do, because otherwise you're going to get swallowed up by it. I haven't really tested it in heavy traffic with lots of big vehicles, so that would be something I don't think I can do here in Cornwall. We just don't have the conditions. So, yeah, enjoying it so far. Final remarks. Let's finish my coffee first. All you've got on the left-hand cluster is the indicators, the horn, the unlock button, and I'll show you that in a moment. Lights, high, low, flasher. Unlock button should do that, which is very cool. Got a little strap there, attaching things, I think. That's good. I got to put my camera, a couple of lugs there for attaching more things like phones and stuff. We have the USB-C port, which means you can charge on the go, phone in there. Everything feels premium quality. Old school charm, new school powertrain.
If you're just wanting a commuter tool, probably a Chinese electric scooter might be a better option for you. If you want something where you're going to feel good, perhaps popping out for a coffee or a non-alcoholic pint at some point, this is definitely a bike for you. And also for me, despite the fact that it's as high
as my gold star, it's actually got less width to it, so I can get my feet firmly down the ground, so it conclusively passes my paddle test. And yes, the seating position I think is a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to get out of here now. Well, here we go. Now then.
Time to head back to Lanty. Closing remarks. It is a bit of a stealth bike too, so when you're arriving at places like this tourist trap, where there are often quite a lot of bikes arriving, lots of noise, you don't disturb people quite so much. People kind of tend to go about their everyday lives without being too overly curious. And I suspect one or two might be looking at it and thinking, what on earth is that? Okay, pros and cons. Pros, looks, they're British, the premium feel of the bike, the performance is absolutely bang on for what it should be. Handling is good, the brakes are very sharp, the feel and fit and finish, excellent in general speaking. You've got your storage there for bits and pieces on your commute. The removable batteries are a big plus because, as I said, you can charge your employer for going to work. Isn't that great? The change to a dual seat has actually worked and has made the bike slightly easier for shorter riders, so good for shorter riders, perhaps not so good for really tall riders, but on the whole, negatives might be the price point is perhaps a little steep for some, and the price of the accessories is also quite steep, and you might need to get used to something that's very different, so a change in your mental attitude might be required. Is that a negative point? I don't know. Any genuine negatives? I can't really think of any, but I dare say you might be able to think of a few, so let me know if you've got any real bad things to say about Maeving. So there we have it, the Maeving RM2, the 2-up version of the Maeving RM1S, and there is an unexpected bonus, which is that due to the slightly narrower front section and shorter storage area, it actually makes it easier for shorter riders. So I reckon anybody over 5 foot should be able to ride this electric motorcycle, equivalent to 125 in terms of taxation, but in my view, equivalent in terms of performance to the 350 singles by the likes of the Honda CB350 and the Royal Enfields, Hunters, Meteors, etc. It has got different modes and other things, lots of electronic whiz-bangery going on in the background, but actually it's just a pleasure to ride. Whether it's for you or not depends on whether your budget extends to something like this, because I think this is a premium machine. It's priced at the premium end of the commuter market, and also it's aimed at people who maybe want a little bit more from their commuter than just A to B. So pride in the machine is kind of quite important. I mentioned a couple of things to Jakob, representative on site. Things that I would change or perhaps add options for: adjustable levers, maybe bar risers, maybe even footboards for maybe slightly more comfortable riding. You can choose the bar ends or mirrors on stalks. It depends what your needs are. Don't forget, like, comment and subscribe, or hit the hype button if that's in front of you with a mobile device. I'm Andy, or Captain Clumsy from Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Lots coming up on the channel. Keep watching for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.